Life gradually returning to Tudun Biri after military drone attack. 8 persons have been killed in Borno line mine explosion. Court sentences 55-year-old man to life in prison for raping minor in Niger State. On the foreign scene, Niger junta releases ex-President Bazoum's wife and son. Thank you for joining us on Trust TV's News Hour. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. We start in Kaduna, where nearly 6 weeks after the accidental army bombing of Tudun Biri in Igabi local government area of Kaduna State that claims several lives, with many fleeing the community due to fear and trauma, members are now finding solace as development gradually trickles into the community. Trust TV's Bello Musa, who reflected on the tragedy, reports that as members of the community recover from the pains of the tragedy, there are members in the community who are now hopeful and pledging, based on the pledges made by the government to redeem the community and rebuild it for better prosperity. His report.
They were traumatized and confused after the army aerial drone attack that led to the killing of scores, with many injured. Most of the affected victims are youth, children, and women.
Leaving the village, our relatives died in. Government should help us because our children and husbands were killed.
Vice President Kashim Shettima and other top government officials visited Kaduna to commiserate with the government and the people of the state.
We are going to build houses. Which will complement the efforts of the Right Honourable Speaker, but ours is a complete package as well, including houses, clinics, schools, veterinary clinics, empowerment initiatives, solar energy.
Pledges were also made by the government and other Nigerians to assist the families of the victims.
On our part, the Kaduna government will do everything to ensure that we look after those in the hospitals. We provide medical care for them. We pay for all their bills. And even those that have lost their parents, the orphans there who have children, the Kaduna government will also look at them and cater for them, support them.
This is the condition of the road leading to the community. When the attacks happened, conveying the injured to the hospital was challenging due to the nature of the road. You can see the bad road leading to the community. This is how they live in the community. Building this mosque is part of what will heal the wounds inflicted by the incidents. The building of the mosque will help to rekindle hope in the community.
Look what happened in good faith, but we call on the government to fulfill its promise to us.
It made a lot of promises. We pray that it will be fulfilled. Despite the lingering pain of loss, villagers at Tudun Biri are finding solace in the promise of reconstruction, a renewed hope for a better future. Bello Musa, Trust TV News Kaduna.
At least 8 persons have died and many others sustained injuries after 2 commercial vehicles stepped on landmines along the Ngala-Dikwa Road in Ngala local government area of Borno State. Reports say the incident occurred at around 10:30 a.m. around Kenebua village in Ngala, about 15 kilometers away from the capital, Maiduguri. A security source disclosed that 2 vehicles, an Isuzu van and a lorry, involved in the incident that damaged beyond repair. Before the Governor Babagana Zulum had applied the route 2 days earlier when he went on a humanitarian visit to Ngala. Speaking on that visit, Governor Babagana Zulum of Borno State has extended humanitarian support, disbursing over 220 million naira, food items and wrappers to over 60,000 residents in Ngala local government area of Borno State. The governor also called for the reactivation of the South Chad irrigation scheme, aiming to uplift the livelihoods of resettled communities in the area. Bitrus Kurusi tells us more.
Governor Zulum personally oversaw the distribution of 221.7 million naira at centers in Gamburu, Wulgo and Ngala communities. In addition to cash, beneficiaries received wrappers, bags of rice and maize. The governor expressed gratitude to President Tinubu for contributing 10,000 bags of rice to support these humanitarian activities,
in order to cushion the effect of their hardships. This local government area is one of the local government areas in Borno State that was severely affected by the insurgency. And therefore, government of Borno State decided to support them. More so, this local government area and Kalabalge local government of Borno State were victims of elephants. Their farm produce were completely destroyed by elephants. And therefore, we are here to provide a rescue mission to the community.
Mun gode mishi sosai, kasan kwanakin baya dai mun sha wahala sosai akan abubuwan da muka nome.
Days ago, I lost my farm produce to cow grazing after harvesting a small portion of the farm, but I didn't get anything from the beans I planted. I appreciate the governor for giving us food items. It will support me and my family. We are grateful for this gesture.
Nasa usanda daya da 5,000.
Yanzu me zaki ce ma gwamna?
Allah ya mishi albarka.
I was given a wrapper and 5,000 naira. May Allah bless the governor and grant him his heart desires and protect him. During his visit to Ngala, Governor Zulum announced plans to reactivate the South Chad irrigation scheme. This initiative targets Lake Chad, Gamburu, Dambore, Wulgo, Marte and Kirenua, focusing on enhancing food security and creating employment opportunities.
I promise very soon. You have seen irrigation activities have started. From here to Gamborungala, I think it's about 15 kilometers. So we want to go beyond this point so that we shall completely establish a very strong irrigation scheme. We shall support the farmers, we shall support the communities, and this is the beginning.
Governor Zulum addressed concerns over the overloading of heavy trucks on the Maiduguri-Gamburu-Ngala road, emphasizing the economic impact and deterioration of the roads. He called for strict enforcement of weight restrictions, penalties for violators, and the establishment of weigh stations at strategic points. The governor commended the federal government's commitment to revitalizing federal roads in the state. Bitrus Kurusi, Trust TV News, Maiduguri.
Now, a senior magistrate court in Mina, the Niger State capital, has sentenced a 55-year-old man of Kundu village in Rafi local government area of the state to life in prison for unlawful sexual intercourse with a 6-year-old minor. The convicted suspect was standing trial for unlawful sexual assault with a child, as well as infecting the survivor with sexually transmitted diseases. 2 witnesses and 2 exhibits, including the confessional statement of the convict and medical report of the health status of the victim from the police clinic in Mina, were taken by the court before the prosecution closed their case before ruling. The convict, however, chose not to enter a defense, admitting his offense. Delivering the judgment on Tuesday, the judge, Hafsat Abdullahi Bawa, said though the plea for leniency from the convict was considered by the court, the convict deserved life imprisonment considering the magnitude of the offense, as well as the victim's present state of health following the stigma the victim would likely carry for life. Anti-graft investigators on Tuesday began questioning the suspended Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Betta Edu, over alleged involvement in 585 million naira disbursement fraud in the ministry. Edu arrived at the headquarters of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission in Jabi, Abuja at around 11 a.m. according to sources. Edu was caught in a 585 million naira disbursement scandal involving the Humanitarian Affairs Ministry, attracting widespread criticisms from right groups and activists across the country. The predicament of the 37-year-old was worsened when the Accountant General of the Federation, Oluwatoyin Maiden, confirmed that although her office received a request from the Humanitarian Affairs Ministry to make certain payments, a request her office did not act on. On Monday, the president suspended the minister with immediate effect, making his party's ex-National Women leader the first to be suspended from his 48-man cabinet inaugurated in August last year. In related development, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission is interrogating chief executive officers and managing directors of Zenith Bank, Providence Bank and Jais Bank in connection with the over 44 billion naira fraud allegedly uncovered in the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. It is reported that the senior bank executives are being quizzed by the EFCC interrogators at the Commission's headquarters in Jabi, Abuja on Tuesday. The suspended Minister of the Humanitarian Affairs Ministry, Betta Edu, is being held and undergoing interrogation by the EFCC over 585 million naira scandal in the ministry. Also, Halima Shehu, the embattled coordinator and chief executive officer of the National Social Investment Program Agency, domiciled in the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, is also being probed by the EFCC over an alleged involvement in the 44 billion naira fraud. All right, let's get some insight on this development. Umar Yakubu is joining us on the News Hour to further add value to the conversation and insight as well as perspective to this development. He is the Executive Director, Center for Fiscal Transparency and Integrity Watch. Thank you most kindly for joining us on the News Hour. First and foremost, your initial thoughts to some of the developments so far. The developments have been taking different twists and turns. What are your thoughts about what the EFCC is trying to uncover so far?
Okay, thank you for inviting me, and I hope I'm clear, loud and clear on the other side. My initial thoughts are, I'm surprised that Nigerians are surprised that such a revelation is coming out regarding the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs. This is just an isolated case that is coming to the public for, probably because there was some disagreement somewhere, probably between the minister and the head of the agency, or probably with the PAMSEC or somewhere. These things are not normal. The truth is, we have enough laws. We have enough laws to prevent these things from happening. So why do they keep happening? I think that is the more issue that we should interrogate, not just this isolated case of there was something that had just gone bad. Because if there was cooperation, let's say, between the minister and the head of that agency, nobody would have known that this has occurred. So that's the angle I'm looking at this issue from.
Yeah, well, the cat is out of the bag, isn't it? And now Nigerians know, and now Nigerians expect this particular situation to be handled with due diligence and some sort of integrity. But also, there is some sort of concern within the public that at the end of the day, Nigerians might not necessarily see anything significant being done as far as punitive measures are concerned. Do you share this perspective?
Yeah, unfortunately, I'll share I'll align with the majority of thoughts of Nigerians, because from 1999, when we ushered in this fourth republic democracy, from our center, we have 592 cases related to grand corruption related cases of this kind of nature. And if I tell you, as of today, 9th of January, out of those 592, none has been completed to its conclusion, not a single one. So that's why Nigerians would naturally be jittery. Now, when I mean grand corruption cases, I'm not talking about normal corruption cases, because grand corruption has several elements of collaboration between several people. So that is normal. But I would like to draw your attention to why not we Nigerians, civil society, including you and I, look at why do these things keep happening? Why? We have enough laws to stop this from happening, so why are they not being implemented? I think that's my own area of where, so that it's prevented and to ensure that it does not occur.
Well, we already know that the former minister, the immediate past minister of the Humanitarian Affairs Ministry, Sadio Umar, is also answering questions regarding some funds that allegedly have been mismanaged under her watch while she was holding sway at the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs. And also that the EFCC is interrogating some bank executives in connection with that. Give us a sense of how this dimension is further, painting a clear picture of how widespread perhaps this possible corruption might be in our society today.
Yeah, the dimension I would like us to look at, maybe we should implore the National Assembly, because they have that responsibility, to mandate, to interrogate, investigate, and mandate a report in whatever manner. And they can pick any period, either 2015 to date, 2010, whatever date they like, to see the level of implementation of even just the public service rules, just that component. The level of implementation of the public service rules with regards to procurement. And when you do that, you will see that 100 EFCCs and ICPs will not be able to investigate the issues, because that is where the leakages are. There is low compliance with the principles of the public service rules across board, especially with regards to procurement. That is why it is common practice that you see payment can be made to the project accountant's account, personal account, or to another individual. I don't have the facts, but I'm just telling you this one must have blown because maybe there was some level of a disagreement. Yes, they're investigating the past Minister of Humanitarian Affairs. Yes, it's all over the news. But to prevent these things from happening, like I told you, we have 592 cases so far from 2015 till date. I don't know whether you are aware of any minister that has come up with this kind of issue that has been investigated and is in jail today. I'm not aware of any. For the last 10 years, no high-level politically exposed person has gone to jail. So we are not really we hope, we pray that this is a new government and they'll do much better and show and be living by example. That is our hope. But from antecedents of the last 20 years, we're not confident that they will do anything.
Right. Safe to say that you're cautiously optimistic about what to expect. But also, for some Nigerians, this is an opportunity for the Tinubu administration to use this window of opportunity to send a clear message that when it says that it wants to fight corruption, it actually means it, not to presuppose that all the allegations are true. But with regards to that expectation, what does the Tinubu administration need to do to win the hearts and minds of Nigerians, especially for those who believe that this is just business as usual? We're going to end up with a slap on the wrist.
Yeah, for a developing economy like Nigeria, symbolism is very important, because people are tired, people are tired, the poverty level is so high, there's a lot of suffering in the land. So if the Tinubu government can be symbolic enough to prosecute, at least investigate and prosecute this kind of case, this particular case and similar cases, and it's good that it's happening to his own appointee. Because if it was to the previous government appointee, they would have said, okay, it's witch hunt. So it's good that he sets a standard and maintains that standard. Don't forget, up to now, money has not even been missing. The money has not been paid. But it is to set a very good precedence to show that, okay, anybody that simply violates a law of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, especially with regards to funds, will be prosecuted. And I'm telling you, he will cast his name in gold by the time he leaves government. in 4 years or 8 years, whatever it may be.
All right, it's still early days. There's a lot more we're about to learn about this ongoing investigation, but we're going to have to leave it here for now. Umar Yakubu, thank you so much for joining us on the news. I appreciate your thoughts and insight to this conversation. Right.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me.
Development reactions have continued to trail President Tinubu's decision to suspend the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Betta Edu, in connection with the alleged transfer of 585 million naira to private accounts. In Makurdi, residents have commended the president for his decision, even as they urge the EFCC to follow due process in the ongoing investigation. Jimmy Azande captures their thoughts.
Suspension of Betta Edu was long overdue because if there is any allegation on you, especially that kind of amount of money that was alleged to have been transferred by her to a private account, there is a need for her to be suspended so that proper investigation can be carried out. The president should not cover anybody. Whoever that is mentioned to have carried any money or diverted any money that belongs to the public should be suspended for a proper investigation to be carried out.
According to the residents, for any leadership to be what it sought, it must follow due process, embrace the rule of law, and also give a listening ear to public outcry. This, they said, President Tinubu has done in the Betta Edu saga.
Africa, politics of underdevelopment is the order of the day. It is key. Everybody is concerned about getting involved in corrupt practices. And so until our people realize that this kind of politics that we play here in Africa is not getting us anywhere, and when we shun politics of underdevelopment, it will mean a step in the right direction, and so many people will play the kind of politics that will bring about development.
About 2 or 3 of them are sacked like that, of this impunity that we're practicing. I don't think we'll be discussing about corruption much in this country.
Others have the opinion that if the suspended minister is found guilty, it will be a setback for the youth population which she represented as the youngest minister appointed in the Tinubu cabinet.
I don't like the idea of giving something to a young person and the person misbehaving. Basically, these old men think we young people cannot hold any office, and that character shows that young people cannot hold any office. My advice to people who are holding public office is that they should learn from this woman's mistake. They should know that you cannot do and get away with it as it is before. You know, if the president himself is against this, I think there will be no corruption in this country by the step he has made so far.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has begun investigation into the financial dealings of the ministry as ordered by the president. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
The Supreme Court has reserved judgment in the appeal filed by the Governor of Plateau State, Caleb Mutfwang, seeking to overturn the verdict of the Court of Appeal, which nullified his election victory. A 5-member panel of justices led by Justice John Okoro reserved the judgment after hearing arguments from both parties in the appeal. The governor had, through his counsel, Kanu Agabi, prayed the court to uphold the judgment of the tribunal and set aside the judgment of the appellate court because the respondents have no right to question how a party elects its state executives. He said the respondents, Nentowe Goshwe and the All Progressives Congress, cannot plead that the governor did not score the number of lawful valid votes ascribed to him, at the same time saying the election was invalid. Staying with the course, the Supreme Court on Tuesday reserved judgment in the appeals by the Social Democratic Party, SDP, the Labour Party and the All Progressives Congress, challenging the victory of Governor Sharif Oborivori. An appeal court judgment in November last year had also affirmed his election victory with a 3-member tribunal headed by Justice C.H. Achuagu, dismissing the petition filed by the former Deputy Senate President, Senator Ovi Omoagege. The tribunal held that the petition contained unsubstantiated allegations, noting that it was speculative and devoid of merit. Elsewhere, a federal high court in Abuja has affirmed Senator Samuel Anyanwu as the legitimate national secretary of the People's Democratic Party. The court also, in a judgment delivered on Tuesday, restrained the national leadership of the PDP from appointing any person as acting national secretary of the party, adding that it is in line with the party's constitution that Anyanwu's 4-year tenure ends on December 9, 2025. You're watching the News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up ahead, poor infrastructure undermining lives and livelihood of Imo community. Details of this and many more stories coming up ahead after the break. Many thanks for staying with us. Welcome back to the News Hour. Here's a quick recap of our top stories at this hour. Life is gradually returning to Tudun Biri community in Kaduna after military drone attacks. 8 persons have been confirmed killed in Borno landmine explosion. To some of today's other news stories, President Bola Tinubu has implemented significant cost-cutting measures by reducing official entourages on both local and international travels by 60%, as announced by a special advisor on media, Ajuri Ingilari. According to the statement, the president has set new limits for official travels within the country. For local trips, a maximum of 25 member staff will accompany him, and similar restrictions apply to offices of the First Lady and the wife of the Vice President.
His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has, by his most recent directive, approved a massive cost-cutting exercise that will cut across the entire federal government of Nigeria and the offices of the President himself, the Vice President, and the office of the First Lady. It will be conducted in the following fashion. 1, the official trips that will be undertaken within the country, that is, when Mr. President or the Vice President travels to any state within the country, the massive bills that accrued due to allowances and ESTA code for security detail coming from Abuja, going and traveling into those states, will be massively cut due to the directive of the President that the security outfits within states, whether it be police, DSS, or branches of the military, will frontline his protective detail when he travels to those states, a major cost-cutting initiative. That will affect the office of the Vice President as well as the office of the First Lady.
Now, bandits have reportedly killed 7 persons in 3 villages of Logo local government area of Benue State. According to reports from local sources, the separate attacks were carried out by suspected herders on Sunday in Mchia, Arufu, and Chembe villages of Logo local government area. A community leader in one of the areas says the killing at Mchia took place in the morning, adding that some corpses have been recovered while some persons are still missing. The source further stated that the second attack took place at night between Arufu and Chembe villages, adding that the attackers shot at commercial vehicles heading to Ioza. Passengers reportedly suffered gunshot injuries following the attack. Chairman of Logo local government area Benue State, Agagbe Jonathan, who confirmed the attacks to journalists in Makurdi, the state capital, said 7 bodies have so far been recovered from the bushes by locals and the police. In a proactive move to champion education and empower students in Jigawa State, Governor Umar Namadi has inaugurated a scholarship program targeting master's and law school students in the state. The groundbreaking initiative seeks to support 150 students by awarding each student a scholarship of 50,000 naira. This scholarship program is set to allocate 4.5 billion naira annually. Notably, the governor's commitment extends to recognizing the significance of professional courses where students pursuing such programs are eligible for substantial financial assistance from the government. Scholarships ranging from 200 to 300,000 naira each will provide invaluable support to those enrolled in professional courses, facilitating their academic pursuit. The governor has underscored the government's unwavering commitment to investing in education as a cornerstone for human capital development while ensuring a promising future for Jigawa State.
This program, which is Tambodi Student Care, initiated by the SSA Student Affairs, is going to the look and corners of Jigawa State to get this kind of people and ensure that financial barrier do not stop them in pursuing their education. So this is a program, this program will continue. I will continue to identify people, both at the higher level and even at the lower level. You can see that the program also has an issue of providing uniform to primary school students. It's also part of the program to provide reading material to primary school students, those that cannot afford.
We thank Almighty Allah for giving us this time and witness this. We really appreciate the government of Jigawa State, particularly the SSA, to the Jigawa State government on governor on student affairs. This assistance actually will immensely help us, we students.
Now, prospective recruits into the Nigeria Police Force have expressed willingness to commit their energy towards improving the output of the force in the fight against Nigeria's lingering security challenges. This is coming on the heels of the ongoing nationwide recruitment exercise by the Nigerian police to bolster its ranks. Trust TV's Adamu Imam was there and now reports.
The recruitment exercise for constables in the Nigerian police force is ongoing simultaneously throughout the nation. According to some prospective intakes, if given the opportunity to join the force, they will help bring sanity into the Nigerian police, especially in the area of operations.
I wish if I have this job for police, I will to serve my country and help my country with my energy.
And then I will try to do my best to take all the responsibility through my work. Anything that I can sacrifice to assist my nation, the all people, the entire people of my country, I will just try to do my best so that you see everything is going very drastically.
Meanwhile, small business operators are chasing in on the exercise to make bricks sales as demand for certain items as well as basic snacks increase within the period of the exercise.
And we have to come here to look for our daily bread because being the shop, there is no business going on. The economy is so dormant. I'm so sorry, Nigeria economy, nothing is so happy, so celebrate. Money is scarce, everybody is in need.
The price is affordable. It's what we purchase in the market, and everyone's the economy of Nigeria today. What we bought like 2 to 3 years ago is times 3 today. And I believe all the Nigerians understand how the market is.
They are doing photocopy. You can see all the photographers. We are keeping the place alive, snapping them passport for the screening.
The 2023-2024 police constables recruitment exercise is expected to reduce the number of unemployed youths throughout the country. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Now, the federal government has reassured motorists and Third Mainland Bridge users in Lagos State of a smooth commute during the partial shutdown of the popular bridge, the longest in Nigeria for comprehensive rehabilitation lasting 7 weeks. Trust TV reports that the federal and state authorities were present to oversee the closure of the bridge, facilitating the contractor's commencement of rehabilitation work. Here's a report.
The deterioration of the 11.8-kilometer bridge marked by potholes in many sections raised safety concerns among motorists considering its status as a crucial transportation route. While the Federal Ministry of Works previously conducted repairs on damaged sections, the comprehensive rehabilitation initially slated for 2023 began on Tuesday with the closure of one lane. During the closure, the Lagos State government outlined traffic flows arrangements. Mrs. Olukorode Keshi, the Lagos Controller, Federal Ministry of Works, emphasized the comprehensive nature of the repair works to prevent further disruptions. She assured that the federal government will ensure the contractor adheres to the schedule.
Some expansion joints have been identified as being defective. We're going to remove them and then we'll replace them during the period of these repairs. So once we are done with that, while we're doing that, we'll start the cap painting, the median painting, street lights, and then the replacement of the missing guardrails. And if time and money permits us, we intend to put CCTV station underneath Third Mainland Bridge to act as surveillance for the bridge so that we can protect one of the major infrastructure we have in Nigeria.
Lagos State Commissioner for Transportation, Oluwaseun Osiyemi, confirmed the mobilization of State Traffic Management Authority LASMA to handle anticipated traffic congestions during the closure.
There will be some bit of discomfort, like Mrs. Keisha said, but we'll ensure that we make it as less stressful as possible. With the collaboration with police as well, that of course guarantees safety as well. So I'm sure we'll be good.
Babatunde Faniloye, Lagos Sector Commander of the Federal Road Safety Corps, assured the public that the road safety officers have been deployed to manage the spillover effects, particularly on Eko Bridge.
There's going to be 24 hours observatory. There's going to be enforcement. There's going to be guide for motorists. Not just to enjoin motorists to please be patient and obey every traffic rule and traffic managers on the road.
The collaborative efforts aim to ensure public safety and minimize disruptions during the crucial rehabilitation period.
Residents of Imo State are appealing to the state and federal governments to fix the Poli Ihejiagwa road leading to Obinze in order to ease movement of goods and services in the area. In this report, Trust TV's Ajibare Praise visits the axis while interacting with locals in the area on the impact of the dilapidated road infrastructure in the community. His report.
This heap of sand I'm actually standing on right here were part of the mud that were actually extracted from this road we are talking about here. You know, they were graded recently and pushed aside so there could be vehicular movement. We're on the streets of Iagwa Polinekadi Road to speak with the residents and hear from them how this road has been for some time now.
For many here, nothing short of an immediate intervention can ameliorate the stress they are subject to while using the road, which has been in a dilapidated state for years.
You know, other business are not going here because of what? Because of this road. And we are on the Imo State. So if government can look into this environment, please, it's a good development.
In terms of business and the work we do, you see some of us, we have shop. Especially the lock-up shops here, you can see most of them are locked up for a year because of the road. So we are not really happy.
For transporters who operate within the axis, the road is a death trap for motorists, especially during the raining season. Hence, the need for quick intervention before the rains come.
As I arrive, I'm so this road is very wrong. So since we are saying the right season, in the rain season, they say the road is no good. As I can see now, it's no good. So yeah, the government should get it. There is problem.
The time that time there used to be raining, we don't used to reach this side because this side was very bad. So nobody, we are not happy. I believe if they didn't do anything about it by this time next year, I don't think anybody will be able to pass this side again. So nobody is happy.
Since the first phase of the road was commissioned, the government of Imo State has not returned to complete the second phase as promised. Though the road is smooth and motorable from the Poli Junction in Aba Road down to the Iagwa Police Station, with business activities thriving. The story is, however, not the same in Iagwa down to Obinze, where most shops are locked, while the few ones that open have to deal with dust coming from the road and potholes to contend with. They pray the ugly situation changes soon.
But we, the residents of this place, we have suffered. Almost every year, this road remains like this. Sometimes they will tell us that they will do the roads. Later we will see that nothing is going on. If this one, as you are seeing, they just try and do the grading. You can see how they grade it like this. We are begging government to come and make sure that they do this road for us, because a lot of residents, a lot of business is paused in this place because of road.
The situation of this road, according to many of them, is worrisome. And it has been like this for many years. Government after government have promised to fix the road, but the promises never comes to bear. Today, they are calling on the current government to, as a matter of urgency, help them fix this road before the next raining season. Because when it rains, this road becomes impassable for vehicular movement. Ajibade Praise, Trust TV News, Owerri.
All right, time now to bring you up to speed with the latest in business. Let's join Chiamaka Elendu for the latest.
This is the business news segment. My name is Chiamaka Enendu. And starting off with news from the manufacturing sector, where the Director General of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, Segun Ajayi Kadri, has stated that the way the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission is carrying out its investigation on Dangote and other companies in the country is sending negative signals to investors. Kadri, who stated this on Tuesday, called on the Commission and the federal government to treat manufacturers with respect, even though no entity is bigger than an investigation. And according to him, the EFCC should clarify the details surrounding the raid on Dangote's office to address any potential negative perceptions to avoid dampening investors' confidence. And he maintained that the government must create an environment that ensures that the private sector feels safe and secure. And to other stories coming from the telecom sector, where Globacom Nigeria has denied reports making rounds that it was owing MTN interconnect charges. The company also said the amount due for payment was 1.6 billion naira and had been paid without controversy. An official of Glo who pleaded anonymity said a proper cross-checking of facts ought to have been done before concluding that Globacom owes MTN. The Nigerian Communications Commission approved a partial disconnection of Globacom by MTN over the formal refusal to pay interconnect debt. Recall that on Monday, the 8th of January, the Nigerian Communications Commission, in a public notice, revealed that it granted a partial disconnection to Globacom from MTN due to non-settlement of interconnect charges. In the notice, the NCC disclosed that Globacom had 10 days starting from the 8th of January to pay the debt, or the disconnection would be implemented. And now to other news. The DMO, that is the Debt Management Office, has unveiled the initial bond offering for 2024, comprising 2 federal government of Nigeria saving bonds available for subscription. And the announcement was made on Monday, the 8th of January, according to the statement. The offer includes a 2-day FGN savings bond due on January the 19th, 2026 at the interest rate of 11.033% per annum, and a 3-year FGN savings bond due on the 17th of January 2027 at the interest rate of 12.033% per annum. And according to the DMO, the opening date is scheduled for the 8th of January and is expected to conclude on the 12th of January, with settlements slated for the 17th of January. Additionally, coupon payments are expected on April the 17th, July the 17th, October the 17th, and January the 17th. And now to the currency market. Today we saw the Naira remain weak at both the official and the black market against major currencies across the world. Let's take a look at how the Naira fared in today's trading. And now to news from the Nigerian bourse, where the Nigerian Stock Exchange, that is the Niger Exchange, ended the day of the all-share index at 80,338, with the market capitalization hitting 45.5 trillion naira. The volume hit 1.152 billion with value of 24.68 billion naira, and 17,144 deals exchanged hands on the floor of the exchange today. And that's it for the market capitalization. Let's move on now to the top gainers table, where FBN Holdings started the gainers chart up by 10.00% at 28.60, and Cadbury on the other hand was up by 10.00, while Unilever Nigeria was up as well by 10.00. And on the losers chart, we can see here that Total led the losers on the chart today, down by 10.00 at 346.50, while Dacom Communications also was down by 9.400, maintaining its position on the losers chart, while RB Bisco was down as well by 8.45% at 0.65. And on the other hand, we also did see the top trades and market movers, with Fidelity emerging as the top mover from the floor of the exchange today at 142 million shares, while FCMB Group had 129 million shares, while the United Bank for Africa recorded 118 million shares. And away from that now to the African markets across Africa, where Johannesburg Stock Exchange ended the day in the positive, up by 0.01% at 74,103, while the Ghanaian Stock Exchange also ended the day in the negative, unchanged at 3,128, while the Nairobi Securities Exchange was down by 1.04%. And now to markets across the world. We start with the FTSE from the United Kingdom, down by 0.1% at 7,687, while the S&P 500 in the United States was down 0.58, while Japan's Nikkei 227 was up by 1.16% at 33,763, while the Shanghai Composite ended the day in the positive at 2,893.25, while the S&P BSE 100 ended the day in the positive, up by 0.15%, while the S&P ASX 200 from Australia ended the day in the positive as well at 7,520.50. Right about now, let's take a look at how the oil markets performed in today's trading session, as Brent crude was up by 2.26% at $77.78, while the OPEC basket was up 1.03% at $78.94. We've seen a lot of conversations around, oil output and oil production for the year 2024, and that is affecting the market in the positive. And this is where we draw the curtains on the business review segment. Now back to the news with Abdullahi Ahmed. My name is Chiamaka Nendu.
Thanks, Chiamaka, for the business news update. Now, let's take a look at developments on the international scene. And we start with Niger, as the military junta in Niger Republic has released the wife and the son of ousted President Mohamed Bazoum. Bazoum's family has been under house arrest since the coup last year on July 26, carried out by the National Council for the Safeguard of the Homeland, the ruling military junta in Niger Republic. In a statement on Tuesday, Nigeria's Foreign Minister Yusuf Tuga commended the military junta for this development. In a statement signed by his Special Assistant on Media and Communication Strategy, Al-Qasim Abdul Qadir, Ambassador Tuga, who was also the chairperson of the Mediation and Security Council of the Economic Community of West African States, said it was a logical step in returning normalcy to Niger and the region in general. Tuga reiterated the call to the government led by General Abdurrahmani Chiani to hasten the release of Mohamed Bazoum from its custody and allow him to fly to a third country as a step towards further talks on lifting sanctions on Niger Republic. According to Tuga, the release of Bazoum will also initiate the transition to constitutional rule in the interest of the people, peace and stability of Niger and the sub-region. Well, let's get some insight on this development. Joining us on the News Hour is Haruna Warkani, a retired diplomat. Thank you very much for joining us on the News Hour, Mr. Warkani. Your initial thoughts on this development. What does this signpost as far as the negotiations with the military junta in Niger is concerned?
Thank you for having me once more. Well, it is becoming clear that there is thawing of relationships between the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, and the junta in Niger, resulting into the release of the son and wife or mother of Bazoum's family. Now, this indicates that both parties are beginning to realize that diplomacy perhaps has a better dividend than the posturing of using military force to solve an essentially democratic problem. Now, we need to understand that the government of Niger was dragged to the ECOWAS court and judgment passed in the sense that the government was given 1 month to react to releasing Bazoum and his family. However, the release in Niger indicates that this was as a result of the tribunal set up by the government itself in Niger, and therefore no mention was made of the ECOWAS court ruling because there are issues of ego involved in this matter. And we must understand too that the release is called provisional. Provisional here means there are conditionalities attached to this release, and already through the auspices of the two states sent to Niger, that is Togo and Sierra Leone, the son had been released to the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Togo. And so he will be under his care and will be made available should in case the government in Niger needs him, because there are other charges, including criminal charges, standing against this young man. And so it is a problem. Second, we must also understand that the wife and son of the deposed president are mere collaterals in this whole affair of the coup and what have you. Now, they are not government officers, and therefore there is actually very little you can hold against them. But for the release of the principal himself, that is President Bazoum, that I think is still a way forward. Long way to come, and if it was ever going to come, it will come with more stringent conditionalities because of obvious reasons.
Right. Does this suggest that the nuclear option is no longer on the table, where military action has been the watchword for the most part since the coup in July last year? And is this the military junta meeting ECOWAS and all the negotiating partners halfway with this provisional release of Bazoum's family?
Well, apparently you have summarized it very well. It's a meeting of minds now. When you have a democratic problem, ordinarily it should be democratic means that should resolve it, not the military. The military should actually not come in, because military solutions are never solutions after all. Because whenever you do and have a military solution, it usually ends with a round table. People still have to come to a table, sign an agreement before anything is said to have ended. And therefore, right from the beginning, right on this program, we did say the military posturing by ECOWAS then was a mistake. Yes, it might have a deterrent effect, but beside that, it also created problems of relationships between ECOWAS and the junta. Now, you cannot suspend someone, you cannot impose comprehensive sanctions, including economic and travel sanctions on a country and expect the country to still be talking to you positively.
Right.
So we have a problem that needed a better solution, which is the diplomacy behind the scene. There have been a lot of negotiations going on behind the scene that is not of public consumption.
Right.
And that is the result we are seeing today than the military option.
It's safe to say that we're not out of the woods yet, but a step in the right direction, to use the words of Nigeria's Foreign Minister, Ambassador Tuga. But for want of time, we're going to have to anchor the conversation here for now. Thank you most kindly, Mr. Haruna Warkani, retired diplomat, for joining us and for sharing your perspective on this development. Thank you most kindly for your time.
Thank you, viewers.
All right. And that is our package on the news tonight. Thank you most kindly for joining us. My name is Abdullah Ahmed, from myself and the rest of the team. Appreciate you for your time and company, and good night.